Sometimes I feel like I started pursuing my career in music a little too late. I just turned 32 last month, and in a couple of months' time, it will be 1 year since I started this whole pursuit. I've never been much of a go-getter. I think I fall somewhere in between the categories of a slacker and a cruiser. And I always thought that that was probably because I never found something that I felt so passionate about. Or so I thought. Like many Singaporean kids, I started doing piano lessons in primary school. Absolutely hated it, and I think I quit after the first year. I think I was the only one out of all my siblings to not do a grade exam. The first real instrument that I actually learned and really enjoyed was the drums, and that was something that my mom signed me up for one day in school. And ever since then, it's led me on this long and interesting journey in music. The first time I was exposed to songwriting was when I was asked to join a band as the drummer. I was living in Wellington, New Zealand at the time, and one of my good buddies played the guitar and he wrote a lot of songs. I played with that band for, I think, 2 years, and we eventually recorded a 5-track EP. Being thrown in a studio and just being able to record songs that we wrote together as a band and individually, me and 4 other young kids. But I think one day I just felt like I wanted to contribute more, and that's when I started trying to teach myself the guitar. My brother taught me a few power chords. Having that was more than enough to start writing songs of my own. I was introduced to music production again by my brother. He showed me this program called Fruity Loops Studio or FL Studio. It was the first digital audio workstation that I had my hands on. I won't say whether or not it was a cracked version or not, but at that at that young age, I don't think we could have afforded it. So music was something that I grew up with. I think it served as a creative outlet during my teenage years, as a way for me to escape the daily toils of the education system. But in all seriousness, I think it really allowed me to regulate my emotions, or at least it allowed me to express myself in a way that I could actually share with others, and that I could get these feelings across in my own way, in my own words, in a medium that allowed me to be as creative as I wanted or needed to be. I had the absolute privilege of playing a lot of music when I was in school, when I was in uni. I had the opportunity to be part of things like mentorship programs and to get to play at lots of stages with my friends and play alongside musicians that I really respected and admired. I was just taking every opportunity that came my way, spending as much time as I could on my craft, writing a lot of demos that will never see the light of day. I've always been hesitant in using terms like a musician and producer because I think it's so definitive. I've always been afraid of saying that I am what I am because I'm afraid of being judged, and I've always felt as though I don't have the qualifications or I don't have the cred, the street cred, to back up those claims. But I think over the years I've realized the paradox that doing it is what makes you it. If this is the only life that I have, when else am I gonna try to do something as crazy as this? A lot of things happened to me in the last 2 years, and if you are someone who has listened to my EP that I put out last month, I think there are some stories in there that will probably tell you what's going on. The one thing that really pushes me is that I know that despite everything, I still have the support of my friends and family, and I don't feel as afraid to fail now because it's something that I will try to keep doing until I no longer can. And I think that's true in most things in life, and it's true in most careers anyway. I've only realized that applying that same rationale and philosophy to wanting to pursue a music career, it's helped me not be so hard on myself for wanting to try and take the path that is hardly traveled. I feel free to put all the eggs into that basket and really try to see how much work I can do. Because at the end of the day, it really is just work. And I think that's an important distinction that I've been able to make. Whether I succeed or fail, it's just one facet of my adulthood. So where does this leave me? I am committing myself to making videos like this to document, I guess, the journey. It's trendy nowadays to want to do something like that as a way of keeping records of your life. As someone who's never been the most sentimental person when it comes to taking photos and videos, this is quite a big step for me to take in wanting to put myself out there, not just in my pursuits, but also to put my life out there for anyone to see. But I think there still can be value in me doing something like this, because I know I'm not the only person out there in a similar position or situation where you're considering making that leap of faith, pursuing that thing you've always wanted to pursue, whether it's a career in music as well or something creative, or maybe you want to become an investment banker. I'm trying to keep myself accountable in doing these, documenting how life works out for me, trying to do this. I really don't have any idea where this is going to lead me, and I absolutely have no expectations. But for now, I cherish the life that I have and the opportunity and the privilege that I possess to be able to try something like this. And if you're someone in a similar position to me, whether that's a struggling creative or someone who hasn't quite made the leap yet, I think it's important to give yourself a try and give yourself a chance. I've come to terms with the reality that it was really a me thing. I think after months and months of talking it out with myself, with my wife, and even like my dad, I've come to realize that the biggest hurdle I had to get across was myself. My fear of failure and my fear of not wanting to give it my all, because then if I failed, it would mean that it's over. And that was it. I've come to realize the wisdom of trying regardless, because regret is something much scarier. I think it'd be a shame not to try. So this is me giving myself the chance.